What's good, everybody? This is Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction, and we got a new video for y'all. This is a little bit different. If you've noticed on my YouTube channel, I've been seeing not just my opinions, because I'm an artist, I've always been able to tell my opinions, but this is something that I feel strongly about. And this video is in regards to Lauren Chen and her recent video, Degrading. Jimmy Kimmel bends the knee to Black Lives Matter at the Emmys. And it just popped up on my timeline on YouTube. And so I'm just all like, what's this? So let me play some of this just so y'all can understand why I felt the need to make this particular video. Let's go ahead and share screen here. Alrighty, so let's play some of this, shall we? Where's the actual part that I'm talking about?
The white liberal look this uncomfortable, but wait, if any of you out there for some reason still think Jimmy Kimmel has any semblance of a spine, keep watching.
I'm still rooting for everybody black, because black stories, black performances, and Black Lives Matter. Say it with me, Jimmy. Black Lives Matter. Louder, Jimmy. Black Lives Matter. Louder, Jimmy. Say it so that Mike Pence can hear it. Black Lives Matter.
If you ask me, seeing Jimmy Kimmel follow orders from a black man because he is a black man, almost as if he were a trained SEAL, is simultaneously one of the best and worst parts of all of the clips that I've seen. But regarding the Black Lives Matter rhetoric, I mean, we've become so desensitized to hearing these people say things like, our people, referring to those in their own racial group.
Look, just already with let me just replay as far as what she just said. So okay.
Lives Matter rhetoric. I mean, we've become so desensitized to hearing these people say.
Look, see, these people. All right, so I hope. All right, let me just continue.
Like our people, referring to those in their own racial group. That I think a lot of us have forgotten that these people, I mean, they're ethno-nationalists. People like that are basically Richard Spencer for black people. I mean, even Richard Spencer has said that, hey, all he wants is just Black Lives Matter for white people. So it just doesn't make sense to me how the mainstream media and left-wing progressives can condemn Richard Spencer as this evil racist, yet lift up black people who are essentially saying the very same thing as these paragons of acceptance, love, equality, and virtue. So I mean, just don't be fooled. At the end of the day, these Black Lives Matter activists, these progressives, as they like to call themselves, they're racist. Just plain and simple. And if watching that footage...
Okay, all right, so... Wow, okay, so I normally do not comment on people's stuff, but let me go ahead and make this bigger so that way y'all can see where I got my frustration from. So what I said was, I know everyone has a right to their opinion, but you, Lauren, fall in the same category as Jimmy Kimmel. If you're going to lump the movement and the meaning behind Black Lives Matter to isolated incidents of chaos or violence, when literally data shows that a whopping over 90% of protests were peaceful, and the ones that were not, most of those were escalated only because of the unnecessary presence and force of the military. Now, this was recent articles that just came out. And so I continued on to say, hearing you speak so confidently in straight disregard a whole race of people's fight as racist, but they're protesting, and oh, you are hearing just so much about it, and that it's just so annoying to you. That is degrading. Like, you are degrading Black people. At the end of the day, these Black Lives activists, these progressives are racist. You said that. You, Lauren, are racist. I don't even do comments like this, but geez, you are really just going to shit on the fact that people are protesting to not be killed, to be treated equally. People like you and your platform are toxic. You and your platform are, and the people that back are one and the same. I love hearing the opinions of people who historically or presently don't have to deal with the issues that people of color face and then turn around and shit on them. This isn't a left or right issue. This is a humanity issue. Media wants to lump politics and the continued mistreatment of people as this political thing. If you're tired of hearing about Black Lives Matter, we're tired of having to say it. What a privileged thing of you to say. It would be nice to not be stopped or mistreated for the color of my skin. It's people like you that make us think that we're crazy because you, and I'm just assuming, probably think that a person's past actions or what he or she is wearing or speaking deserves to be executed. We are telling the world, hey, we're getting shot up in our home while we sleep. We're getting choked out or shot and killed in our seats in our car. We're saying I'm being mistreated, killed, wrongfully convicted at proportion. Like, these studies are like, the numbers are out there. And here goes people like you. Well, if you hadn't did this or around them or didn't look like X, or straight up downplaying what is being said or aligning the movement itself with isolated incidents that, as some data and proof has shown, were not Black Lives Matter protesters. This stuff is not made up. You're going to sit there and say, year after year, another person of color is shot and it's filmed, and you think that that's not a problem? Oh, but now, since every race of people is getting mistreated by cops or the government, then that is somehow a reason to think Black Lives Matter should not exist? That you would tie over 90% of protests being peaceful to being racist? Then social and regular media replays clips over and over of Black people getting killed by cops? You probably are one of those, well, what about Black on Black crime people? What does that do to a human's psyche? What other race of people gets their video of their death put in a constant feedback loop? And you have the nerve to say that Black Lives Matter is racist, because obviously us just being here and doing our thing wasn't enough. Obviously us marching and all this shit for decades, fighting for this for centuries, was not enough. So creating a movement behind the failed attempts to make sure the world knows Black Lives Matter, because apparently the US didn't get the damn memo since its damn creation. What baffles me is, even with us publicly or on tape or in the comfort of our homes getting shot, you still have a rebuttal. This is what's crazy, because she's basically, for one, shitting on Jimmy Kimmel because he's doing this segment, and of course this is all scripted. So she's sitting up there shitting on Anthony Anderson, basically making him seem like a drill sergeant because he's passionate. And then I realized, because something, I was just like, Blaze TV, I was just all like, something sounds Tommy Lauren about that. And so I sit up there and I go to blazetv.com and I look it up, and then, just so that way y'all can see what type of woman she is. This is the Blaze TV, news and entertainment for people who love America. And by the way, when I look at, as far as our shows, Seymour shows, the only one, you got the token Black woman, Candace Owens, who is questionable as far as the way that she thinks. Here's the thing. This is what upsets me about rhetoric from certain people. certain people like Lauren Chen, certain people like Tommy Lauren, certain people like Candace Owens, and not the diss Candace Owens. Here's the thing: you can be a very smart person and say very dumb things. So when Candace Owens gets the type of flack that she gets, is because she says on Twitter, I've seen some debates and she has good points and different things like that. But when you sit here as a Black woman, and there's several other people, one in particular who I would personally love to see him debate someone really dope in the Black community. I can't remember his name. I'll put him a Ben Shapiro or whatever. A lot of people like that downplay reality because of where they came from. So all they can do is look at certain things, not everything. And that's what's crazy about, the internet. But you see these people who are left or right or whatever, they do very half-ass research because a lot of the shit is out there. So when you have people who like Lauren Chen will align, and like I said, look at this. This is America right here. This is America. Now, I don't know if these are all of the shows that is on it, but I mean, this is a poor representation of America, honestly. Blaze TV. Anyways, they got the nerve. Anyways, so they create this rhetoric where they make it seem like there isn't something. Now, I'm not going to say, they look at certain examples and be like, well, this person made it and this person made it, so why can't y'all all do it? They look at certain things and be like, oh, no, I wasn't privileged because of this, and this. I worked hard for this, and this. Not understanding the reality. Literally, when I can't make this stuff up. Look at what a police officer, look up what police were originally created for. The exact foundation, even in our freaking 13 amendments and everything like that, all of these things were created without Black people in mind. Literally, when you look at what the origin of a police officer is, they were literally slave patrol. That's what they were created. Being a police officer wasn't even a job people wanted to do. Most of them, when you research and you look up, like, these are from legit documents. Like, this stuff isn't some stuff that's made up. It's just going against what your particular viewpoints. And that's what's frustrating about seeing a lot of these people. And then they'll sit there and make Black Lives Matter seem like this radical, movement they're trying to. She literally just tried to say that what Black Lives Matter, as far as the group, as far as the meaning behind it, is the same as freaking Richard Spencer. And they have these big platforms where there's thousands, if not millions, of people. Like, I'm sitting there looking at her video, and I'm actually surprised that there's not more dislikes. Maybe it's me. Or maybe because I'm not here's another, Black man just saying, whatever. It's frustrating because there is definitely we have to look at this from a holistic view. Yes, in 2020, there is plenty of opportunity. Is there still racism between a lot of stuff? Yes. People like Ben Shapiro, people like Lauren Chen, uh, even Candace Owens in some certain way, you know, they are not seeing things from an actual holistic thing. What's crazy about this is that you go to the doctor, they need to know your medical history. Why? Because that will give them clues to what's going on with you currently, why this is going on currently. So if we look at the past and we literally see everything, you can go back in history, follow everything up to right now, and you mean to tell me that everything is fair on all sides? It's not. It's not. Even if, let's just say that, let me put this scenario. So you have two people. They get the same as far as training. They get the same opportunities in life. But one of them has access to more due to the color of their skin. Or even, let's look at this. Let's say that both of them were on even playing fields all the way through, white person, black person. Let's just say they grew up in the same neighborhood, they went to the same schools, they graduated from the same college and got the same jobs. You know, nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that. Until you start seeing why the black person is starting to act, or why they're acting a particular way, whether that be you know, certain traumatic stuff, you know, passed down or different things like that, then that's when you start looking at things. America never did any healing for all of the shit that they did. They just fucking went on about life. That's what y'all are not getting. There was nothing put into place. And then when we sat up there, created our own stuff, do you know how many things were proven? How many times the own USA has used their own military for tactics against black people in their own, on their own soil? Like, this stuff isn't made up. You can look at the Tulsa bombings. You have a whole city was bombed by the United States. Dr. King's wife and stuff won a court freaking case that proves the government's involvement in his assassination. The US government. This stuff isn't made up. So when I see someone like Lauren Chen and her fucking Blaze TV with the people who love America, when I hear that, you know, it makes me think of the whole Trump, you know, crap, make America great again. It's just all like, what America are y'all talking about? Because all throughout Americans' history, there has been this issue with black people. The 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s. We're in 2020. You read about it in school. This stuff is we were just getting desegregation stuff in the freaking 50s and 60s. This stuff that ain't even 100 years ago. And just all of a sudden, everything's all cool, everything's all equal. With Black Lives Matter, you know, them sitting up there saying what you know, we're protesting everything. We shouldn't be doing that, right? Anyways, I was gonna say something, but no. It upsets me, you know, hearing people like that because it's downplaying. You know, when you hear about certain um, situations of where, you know, someone's explaining to someone what happened, like, hey, you know, I understand that you've seen, you know, different things, or maybe you haven't, but I'm literally telling you my experience. You can't refute that. Sometimes there's no statistics on my experience. So you're basically just going to sit up there and tell me, like, oh, well, you know, that's a da-da-da-da. Like, no. And then I'm tripping out because she's sitting up there with freaking Elvis in the damn background, and this nigga was a racist. Anyways, so Black Lives Matter saying, hey, the group in general, the group is not made up of only black people. This is every color people saying one thing. It doesn't mean that all lives don't matter. Richard Spencer saying, well, there should be like a all white lives matter. That's just him being a dumbass. Like, that's not the same. There's U.S. historic proof of the U.S. treating us opposite, so much so that we had to create something to literally say, just so that way people understand. And even then, people still got a rebuttal. Well, if they have that, then we should, like, they're saying it because like yes, all lives do matter. Yes, in 2020, cops are shooting every color. It doesn't matter. But why? The only reason it can even get to that point was because it was okay. No one was saying nothing when black people was just being shot. And what happens when you get what happens when you get power hungry? Then all races. Doesn't matter. That's what's so frustrating. They're not the same. The United States treats and was created with white people in mind. We already know you matter. We're talking about the people who you're not treating like they matter. That's what this is about. Anyways, as you can see, I can get very passionate about this, you know, but again, it's not to, everyone has a right to their opinion. Like, seriously. But it's so funny because if you look at the video, she goes on to talk about this woke agenda. So you mean any program that tries to bring a certain narrative to life that normally isn't talked about in that type of way is quote unquote woke, and there's something wrong with that? Your whole podcast is called The Pseudo Intellectual. That's fucking woke as fuck, and you got the nerve. Anyways, it's gonna end up being this whole long, like, I need to create some art. I got time for this shit. Anyways, hey, let me know what y'all's thoughts on it. You know, do you think that Black Lives Matter is this freaking militia group? Even with studies that sit up there and say that 90% of the protests, over 90% of the protests were peaceful, even with freaking evidence and proof to show that a lot of these burnings and stuff like that weren't even from Black Lives Matter protesters. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are in the comments. Hit the like button if y'all like as far as videos like this where I go on, bring certain videos up and, talk about it. I normally don't do that. I'll do like reactions for music videos or like with anime or, albums and different things like that. You take a look at my YouTube page. It's got all different types of stuff. I do many different mediums of stuff. But anyways, if you're wanting to get lifted as far as like rig your spirits up and different things like that, I do have a new song called Lift Us, so it's going to be in the description section. It's hard for me to even get that even out because I just went through all this stuff and it's all like, oh well, you can support with this, but yeah, you can support. If you like this, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the description for all the goodies. It's a Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction. Peace.